go live and it takes us.
I mean, what is a guardian? A guardian is the guy who says be home by 10. You say, shut up, you're not my real dad. That's what a guardian is.
That's my favorite line.
I know. Welcome, gents. Fourth quarter looks a little different today. We got some guest hosts with Tyson and Chris. Welcome, gents.
Thank you for having me.
Likewise. Thank you, Kale. Appreciate it.
Yep. I don't know what big things Trey and Tommy are up out doing today, but they're busy, and sometimes work takes precedent over having fun, even though we'd rather talk sports all the time. Lots to cover, man. NFL, obviously, college football kind of going crazy the whole season. MLB, Tyson can share some heartache there, unfortunately. NBA kickoff. I'm sure there's something else I'm missing. So
it's the best time of year.
It really is. October is like the perfect month for sports. Oh, and we have to share the series or the standings, because that's part of the reason Tyson's here, because he won last week at 13-2 tiebreaker by 1 point. It looks like last week.
Yeah.
Over G.
Finally broke through.
Yeah. So. Well, and you've been right there the whole season. Chris, I think you had a little. Let's see, where'd you end up? Oh, you're right there. You were one game out. That's right. You texted me, my Niners screwed you, and I said, well, they screwed me too.
Come on, it's like I don't know. They keep winning, right? It's like
I don't know how.
And I'll pick them this week, and they'll probably totally crap the bed. So yeah. I mean, that's just how it works. So
yeah, well, let me know if you do pick them. I might not.
Yeah, I kind of on the show, we're kind of throwing out little bombs, and it's like so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they're befuddled down here. I listen to sports talk radio a lot here in the Bay Area, and they're just like, they'll take them while they can get them, but everybody's just like, what is going on? Like,
Yeah.
Mac Jones is just kind of hanging in there.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me how they're doing it, but Tyson and I chatted for a moment this morning, and one of the things I said was having Robert Saleh back is huge, because defensively he just gets it. We weren't the same without him for a few years when he was out trying to be head coach. But like I told Tyson this morning, nobody has success in New York as a head coach. So
that's what they've been missing. I mean, it's like at least maybe on the offensive side, maybe have some struggles. I know McCaffrey had a really good game, but defensively, he's getting it done for him, and it gives him a chance, right? And it's like, and they're winning the close games. Like last year, they weren't, And hey, I'm not a San Fran fan at all, Green Bay, but it's but the San Francisco's getting it done. So
yeah. And year-to-date standings, G is one game up on Scott and Ty. Ty Daddy number 4.
Yeah.
I've had a rough couple of weeks, man. Maybe even 3 or 4 now. I had a couple game lead and was just kind of hanging on. I'll tell you, I'm still bitter about the Giants losing that game because they had that. I had picked them. That was my hot take last week on the end of the show, was the Giants were going to cover. So I picked them here. I put money on them. And they were the first team. I think it was 1,802 teams had a lead in the fourth quarter of 33 points, or some ungodly number that it should not have happened, and it did. That they lost. So it is what it is.
I did see that they let their kicker go, though. So
did they?
Dude, I don't know if that guy got a ride home from the stadium.
At least they're holding people accountable, right? I mean, it's like there's a lot of other things going on, but hey, he's the obvious. So
2 points he cost him, 2 extra points.
Absolutely.
That's an interesting thing too, that they've moved that back. That was such a automatic for so long, right? And you see it a lot more now where they've got to, either getting blocked or missing them. It's not as automatic as it used to be. So it's made it a little interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad they, for the sport, it's made it more interesting, and it's kind of changed up some games. And obviously, people have won and lost games off of it. And then if you throw in the fact that they get a penalty and they put them back 10 yards, you're like, man, this is the longest extra point in my life. So
50-yard extra point.
Now, if we could just get away from Vegas using the half point for their bets, would be good, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know. I think a lot of rule changes. I was actually, watching a lot of Major League Baseball too, obviously the last few weeks, and the rule changes there have sped the game up. And in the NFL this year, I think I like the kickoff rule that they instituted. So I'm not for rule changes to make changes, but if they're actually going to add something to the game or kind of bring it together, I'm all for it. But I think all the traditionalists and all the original, people are kind of dying off. Yeah. So we're starting to see a lot of change in sport.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of baseball, with where they can't, with the shifts and everything that they used to have,
right?
Stupid, right? Because hey, guys going to pull the ball all the time, but at least they're trying to keep them honest. Where it's like it resembles a baseball field out there, so which is good,
Well, and even the pitch clock too, like that was such a big deal when it first came in, and I don't think it was mentioned. Was it even on in the playoffs? Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know.
But but I don't think anybody violated it. Yeah.
Yeah. It is nice when it's because as a fan you want the game to kind of move at a certain pace, and I think in the NFL what it's really done is made it where you can come down and only have a minute left on the clock and still get in field goal range, because if it's a touchback, what is that to the 35 now or something like that?
Yeah.
And so it's like now you only need 25 yards maybe to get in position for that's 2 first downs. That's 2 good pass plays maybe. Or just 3 little 8-yard outs and you're there.
Well, and they're getting better. The kickers are getting not that they didn't have skill before, but used to they just come in and pound it through the back of the end zone. And now they've got to kind of put it in that landing zone.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're going to get penalized. with 35. Coming out, and I don't know. I just thought it was unique. It was really. I heard about it when they made the play or they made the change, and then what really brought it to my attention is it happened in the Seahawks game. I think week 2, where it was like the guy landed it just right, and he let it go in the end zone and didn't know.
Yep. That cost the Steelers. It didn't necessarily cost them the game because they lost by 14, but it was a huge momentum shift where I think the Seahawks had just scored, and then they got that. So it was like you go from a tie ball game to up 14 in a matter of a minute.
Right.
And it's crazy. So
there's another one too that I just saw today that they're Troy Vincent, he's I don't know exactly what his title is, but he's in the league, or I think he's on the NFLPA side or something like that. But basically this year they were tracking how many onside kicks are recovered. And if they didn't hit a certain percentage overall, that they were going to change it. And it was going to be like a 4th and 15.
Oh.
Instead of having an onside kick, you would get one shot for 15 yards, I guess.
I think the odds of that are a lot greater than an onside kick.
Yeah.
Right. So they're still looking at changing some stuff up.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that one. Crazy, yeah. Well, let's get into last week's game. Started out with a game that nobody – so three Thursday night games in a row have been total upsets.
That's crazy.
Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. Mike Tomlin, I think he had – the ability to see the future when he was complaining about trading Joe Flacco within the division, and it came true and it bit him. And he looked. You got to think. Joe Flacco is still very good, and you give him freaking Jamar Chase, and now I just forgot the other guy's name, number 5. What
was it, Higgins? T.
Higgins. You give him those 2 guys, and it's like just throw the ball up, give Jamar a chance.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I thought kind of maybe came into play there is the fact that he didn't know what was going on. Like they didn't know the defense didn't know what to play. And then you get a little backyard football and you've got 2 of the best receivers in the league to throw to. You could probably be 45 and still hit those guys.
Exactly.
But I love that stuff. It kind of reminded me, remember when Baker Mayfield did that?
On Thursday night with the Rams.
Right. Yeah, he just showed up and balled out. And it's like you get them into just playing backyard football, and these guys can really, it's hard to defend them.
Yeah, because the coaches are so smart too with the schemes,
right?
Putting the guys in the position, and if you have no tape on them,
right,
that's why a lot of times when a backup comes in and they don't have any tape, it's like he'll do good for a game or maybe two. And then they adjust and they take away what he's good at. It's like, okay, can you get your second or third read or your, or if we blitz you, can you get off your spot and throw on the run? I mean, it just depends on what they're good at, but you see it all the time. So it wasn't necessarily a shock, but it was still what the Bengals had done up to this point was
right.
And they're still 3-4. That's the crazy thing. As bad as they've been, they're 3-4.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, the good thing too is, or one of the things about it is, maybe in the future, whenever we do see that, I'm going to have to go with that pick. New QB that week from a different team.
Right.
Yeah. We're the Bengals 3-4 last year too with Burrow. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to look. I mean,
or worse.
Probably because they start 0-2 almost every single year.
Yeah. So
did they make the? I'm trying to remember. They just missed? I think
they just missed. I think by like a game last year.
Right. Yeah. I knew they got close towards the end, but I couldn't remember if they actually did.
Yeah. Next game was the Rams at Jacksonville. Stinker of a game, unless you had the Rams, going off for 5 touchdowns. Matt Stafford throwing 5 passing touchdowns, which that wasn't on my bingo card. I actually picked Jacksonville, so that one kind of hurt because, they're a team that I swear, like you were saying, Chris, if I pick them, they lose, and if I pick them to lose, they win.
Yeah, that's Minnesota.
100%. You're right.
I know Minnesota. That not to jump ahead, but Minnesota plays the Chargers on Thursday night. It's like,
yeah, that's the one I got busted on this week was the Chargers, and I keep, I don't know, I keep thinking like Abear and Harbaugh are going to put it together, and they keep catching me, with my pants down.
Yeah, they do. But that game was kind of crazy. And then the next game, Miami, Cleveland. I mean, not a lot of time needs to be spent on that one, but I don't know how Mike McDaniel is still the coach, and I don't know how Tua is still the QB1. So something's got to change. They are so bad.
I don't even know how McDaniel got the job in the first place.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, he just doesn't strike me as a leader of like men or alpha. I mean, could you imagine if this guy got up in a sales meeting and this was your CEO?
Yeah.
And this was his morning huddle, every day, sales huddle. I'd be like, put me to bed.
Yeah.
And then now he's coaching in the NFL.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, right? It's like at some point you got to say, okay, I
did pick Miami just because Tua called out all his players the week before, and I thought that might get him fired up, but apparently not, because I think they only scored 3 points and they suck. So never again. Yeah. So this week they'll win because I won't.
They had 6, so they doubled it, but they still were. And I happened to play the Cleveland Browns in fantasy, and they had 28 defensive points because they had so many.
Holy shit!
Yeah, I was like, 28 points for a defense. Thank you.
That's huge.
Yeah, that sunk me.
Well, and their defense is pretty good. It is that 28 points is pretty crazy. But yeah, I was curious in that game too. I didn't know who was going to show up. My thoughts about it was like, if you're seeing kind of that dysfunction leak out nationally, in the media, can you only imagine what it's like going to work every day?
No. And especially what he was saying, there's no accountability. People come and go as they please. They're not showing up to meetings. It's like you're never on the same page. And anybody that's ever been in any kind of organization, whether it's sports or business, it's like, if you have that, the culture is garbage.
Yeah.
And that's what people focus on. They're not focused on executing. They're focused on what Tyson is or isn't doing, or what Chris isn't or doing, or I'm trying to cover my butt because somebody, whatever. It's like, it just doesn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. You start getting into that finger pointing and worrying about what other people are doing, and you're not gelling as a team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's, in fact, I just saw a headline too that came across this morning that Stephen Ross, the owner, was offered $10 billion for them, for the Dolphins, Hard Rock Stadium, and then like the Miami Grand Prix or some shit. And I was like, $10 billion, and he turned that sucker down. Man, I don't know about you, but looking at that record and $10 billion, that'd be a hard one to turn down.
Yeah, I don't know what the other things are worth, but
yeah,
the Miami Grand Prix could be worth a pretty penny as well.
I thought that was interesting. I don't know what I obviously owns it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah,
I'll have to look it up for the future.
Yeah,
crazy.
But they're struggling. We'll see. I thought they would be somewhat decent. They were showing some hope under McDaniel and last year, but yeah, we'll see.
As long as they keep giving Devon Achane the ball for my fantasy team, I don't really care.
I heard they were talking about trading him too.
Well, maybe he'll go somewhere better.
Yeah, that'd be good for you.
Yeah. Couple other games, New England, Tennessee, kind of a stink bowl. Tennessee is just as bad with whoever's the interim coach. I don't know that there's much to touch on there unless you guys. I didn't watch a lick of that game because I'm like, it didn't matter to me.
I have a little interest in Cam Ward just because he was a Coug for a little bit, but Tyler Lockett asked for his release, which I think says a lot, someone like that. So it's funny because you get to this time of year where you can kind of start reading the tea leaves of what teams are and who they are by some of these moves or lack of moves or whatever. And I don't know. I thought they would be better this year.
Yeah, I expected more too, but obviously they were not good.
Or they play the game. Yeah,
exactly. Speaking of bad teams, the Raiders couldn't even get on the board against the Chiefs. I mean, that experiment's gone wrong too with Geno Smith. I mean,
yeah,
they're looking to pedal him off, aren't they?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think I read something too that they're. Yeah. But now, who do they bring in? Who was the backup? I don't remember.
I want to say it was that redheaded guy, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because I heard
Kenny Pickett.
Oh, okay.
That's probably why they haven't done it.
I got a text like halfway through the game from one of my other buddies who's a Seahawk fan and was just like, "Hey, they pulled Geno." We're Seahawk fans are keeping a little bit of an eye on this whole thing just because it's Pete Carroll and Geno. Yeah. We're like wondering. Yeah, I was fine with letting him go. Geno did a great job for us for a little while, but I think he's kind of shown his true colors there. And as far as Pete, has he got 2 or 3 years to get that thing, into his, mold? But I don't know. And I don't know. I think the Tom Brady thing is interesting there too. It's just there's just a typical Raider fashion.
Yeah,
a whole bunch of just like crazy storylines going around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. We won't spend too much time on that since Trey's not here. The Chiefs won. End of story.
We're rolling.
Yeah, I know.
Philly, Minnesota.
All those crocodile tears at the beginning of the season, like look back. Oh my God, they're not going to make the playoffs. And here we are. We're just right back in the middle of it.
I will point out that they're still in third place in their division, though.
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
So the fact that the Broncos won and the Chargers have the tiebreaker over them still. But there's a lot of football left. There really is. There's a lot of foot, and they're only a game out of first place, so it's not like it's very far. But if the other teams keep winning, it's going to be harder. But I don't know that the Chargers have it in them. And the Broncos too have a very good defense, and had no offense until about 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter the other day.
Crazy.
It doesn't. But momentum is a crazy thing in sports, so.
Yeah.
Philly finally decided to throw the ball and throw it well. They looked pretty good. I know you guys mentioned Minnesota as the team you always pick and they don't win. For whatever reason, I've nailed them. I'd have to go back and look, but I feel like I picked them to win. Like I'm 5-0 with those guys, or 7-0, or whatever it is. But I definitely have those teams that are my kryptonite and I can't peg.
Yeah.
It just happens. But
well, now I can't remember who is the quarterback now in Minnesota, because JJ McCarthy's hurt, isn't he?
Yeah.
Trying to remember.
Now I
didn't watch them this week, so
Carson Wentz.
That's right. So I actually take that back. That guy is the most like schizophrenic quarterback ever. Like 1 minute he's throwing a dime, the next minute he's like throwing it into triple coverage.
Yeah.
It'd just be so maddening.
Yeah. Well, and it's still crazy to me that Minnesota, because they let Sam Darnold go in free agency, right? Yeah. And Seahawks picked him up, and it's all about being in the right system as a QB.
100%.
And he was in a great system. I know he didn't have a great playoff game, but maybe that was the game plan. But it's like you let a guy, didn't he go like 14-3 or 15-2 or something like that crazy last year?
Yeah.
And you let him walk?
Yeah. I think that's really interesting how we're seeing that in the NFL now. Some of these guys, you would think it would have been this way earlier because they always get drafted to the worst franchises, right?
Oh, yeah, I know.
And that one position takes time, and they're so young, right? Like some of these guys, I look at it, I guess I'm getting older now. I'm looking at they're just they're 21, 22 years old, and they're thrown into not the pressure cooker, but these grown men out there want to take their heads off, and the game's faster. Of course, there's gonna, and then the confidence. I think the confidence is the big thing. If you kill the confidence early on, that takes a long time to recover.
Yeah.
Seeing Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, even Geno Smith, some of these guys that, have had time to have the game slow down for them.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're showing it. I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Well, and I think, you go back to the way that the Packers have developed their last 3 franchise quarterbacks.
Right.
They sat on the bench. I mean, I'd have to go back and look, but 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers was a backup forever. Jordan Love was a backup for a couple of years. And, you especially learning from somebody that's all pro, Hall of Fame, one of the top in that ever played the game. If you're Aaron Rodgers backing up Brett Favre and then Jordan Love backing up Aaron Rodgers, it's like experience. You're getting so much knowledge and experience during that time that you won't get in 10 years.
Right.
Playing.
Right.
And it's hard. I mean, you could even look at the college level. Dante Moore went to UCLA, went to Oregon and sat for a year because he was like, he probably got paid to do it too, but he's like, man, I need to figure out, I want to be an NFL quarterback.
Right.
And in order to do that, I need to be better. I need to be really good at the college level. And I actually saw him as projected as number 1. I'm like, don't go to the Jets, man. Don't go to the Jets.
No, please don't.
Well, they don't have the big contracts anymore either. So I think the urgency to get him in, or at least my perspective on it is, I don't think there's as big of an urgency, or there shouldn't be as big of an urgency to stick him in, right away. Before I got it because they're paying him so much money, you got to kind of like figure it out. But, now with this, the slotting and whatnot, you can put him, behind somebody for a year or two. And I just can't imagine what that jump is like, going from college to the NFL. Not only the speed, but just the complexity of the game.
Well, and I always talk about it. It's like when you're an elite athlete and you're always been an elite athlete, it's usually your athleticism that separates you from most everybody else.
Right.
But by the time you get to the pros, that's everybody.
That's everybody.
So now what do you do if you don't truly understand the game and how it works, and those leverage points? You're not going to get there. I was talking to my son that I shared with you this morning, Tyson, that he's playing college. I mean, he's on the JV team in college, and he practices with varsity. And he's like, "How is it?" He goes, "It's so much faster and it's so much more physical." And they're still like college age kids, but they're just some of them are never going to make that leap to a varsity program and play.
Right.
And you got guys in college now, 24, 25 years old, playing an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
It's like the physicality and just the grown. I mean, there's a kid that's on his team. He played tight end at Oregon State the last 2 years, and he's like, well, I'm not going to see the field playing football. I'm going to go play basketball so that I can actually play. And he looks like a tight end. He's like 6'4" and 250, 260.
Jesus.
And it's just like, it's crazy. But, you gotta, that's why I think if you almost can struggle a little bit early, and then you're seeing that with these QBs, they come back and they're like, okay, I had to adapt and learn that, I can't fit that ball in that window because that DB can close that space, or that safety can read my eyes if I don't look them off and come back, or if I always throw to this side. You're going to get found out real fast.
Yeah. It's probably why quarterbacks, like Flacco, why he's, still has some success, because they give him a shot because they know he can get it done. He can't move definitely like he used to. Not that he was a big mover anyway, but he's like, he can get it done, and find success. And it's like, hey, you're going to go with the 2-year guy or the guy that's been in the league for, 45 years. So,
Yeah, the game has slowed down to him a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's really, there's a lot to be said, and I think also college is kind of going more that way too, where like you were just talking about, they're kind of, I don't know, you get guys coming out of nowhere that have been playing 3 or 4 years, at the D2, D3 level, and then you plug them right in. Where if they were a freshman stepping in there, that was always so much harder. You don't see that as much. But the college game is crazy, and I think it'll filter up to the NFL eventually too.
Yeah, I actually saw. I don't know that it's in the NFL, but I saw a crazy thing, and I didn't fully read the whole article, but in the NBA or in college basketball, they're allowing guys that were foreign born to then played professionally to now play in the college system.
No shit.
And it's like Tom Izzo was talking about it. He's like, what if I recruited some 19-year-old, 18-year-old kid and made these promises, and now we got all these rejects coming back down because maybe they played in the D League, but they're from Australia or whatever, and they couldn't hack it, and so they're going to go play for college because they want to be the guy and they want to continue their career. It's like you're going to allow them to rebound back. It's like, to me, it's like there's got to be some stopgaps to say we're going to have 30-year-old men playing in college sports if that's the case.
Look, it's funny you brought that up because I just saw something. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a 58-year-old guy.
Yeah, I did see that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it's just dumb. I mean,
you get hurt. I mean, getting up off the ground is hard.
Another funny thing I saw on TikTok was there's a 40 and under it's 40 and under a football tackle league out back east somewhere. And, these guys are out there just blowing each other up, and they got to go to work for the next day. Who's crazy enough to do this?
Not me, man. I love playing pickup basketball, but I don't even do it anymore because I was getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because you got guys out there that they don't care about their body, or they're just an idiot, or they don't have any balance. I mean, it was probably 4 or 5 years ago now, but it's like I got a concussion in the morning, and we called it AM mayhem because it was. It's like, I remember I saw, it was like the shot went off, a rebound, and this guy Rob got it, and I'm just there, and he looks at me and he goes and puts his head down, and like I reared back, and it's like it just caught me, and it immediately split me. I mean, black eye, blood everywhere, concussion. I'm like, Rob, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Not necessary. And of course, he's a big, crazy dude. He's like, oh, I'm like,
yeah, right. Like bull in a china closet.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, crazy stuff. Some more games. I don't know if obviously the New York game, I think we got to put a little bit of full attention on that. I mean, to me, it started when Jackson Dart threw that interception with about 10, 11 minutes ago. It might have even been less than that. It was less than that because they had already scored. And, his feet kind of got tangled up, and he didn't have any zip on it. And it was like 3rd and 6. You're like, I think it was like 3 minutes to go. And it's like, why are you even throwing that ball?
Yeah.
Because you're a rookie. That's why.
I was just going to say, yeah, because you're a rookie. And that's exactly what we're talking about, right? Like,
yeah.
He's trying to make plays that he probably could have made in college.
Yeah, right.
His mind hasn't fully shifted over yet that he's got to eat that.
Well, and it's like when you get back down to like under 5 minutes in the NFL, any kind of lead, you're playing the clock more than you're playing the opponent, in my opinion.
Right.
you just got to bleed that clock. And that's why you see guys run it down to 1 or 2 seconds. I mean, even the timeouts now, they're standing next and they're taking it to 0 because it's like those seconds matter.
They do.
What was it? There was a game this weekend where maybe it was Monday night. Maybe it was Penix when he threw it away. And then there was a 10-second runoff.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, if there would have been 11 seconds, they would have had 1 more second to kick a field goal. But they didn't. So the seconds really, really matter. It's crazy. I don't know. Did you guys catch that game at all?
The Monday night game? The Atlanta
game?
The
Giants.
The Giants. Yeah. I followed, I was kind of had it in one of my boxes, and so I was kind of, because I think it was a differentiator in our pool, because I had, and so I was like, hey, if Denver doesn't come back here, I'm going to be, out of it. And so I was keeping an eye on it. And they, like you said, they just kind of kept leaving a minute, coming back. And I don't like Sean Payton, but I feel like, he's someone you can't count out either, and I think he's got himself his guy and Bo Nix too. Yeah. So, you can't bet against that when you get a coach and a QB that are kind of in sync. And that seems to be what Peyton's thing is too, right? He did it with Drew Brees when Drew Brees was coming from San Diego, and then he sure as hell knew what he didn't want with Russ.
Yeah,
which was interesting, and that's a whole nother thing. Yeah. But for him to get Bo, and then for Bo to really show up and start to kind of become one of those guys that can grind and through adversity and whatnot. So that's the reason, the total reason why I picked him in the first place, because they're home, they've been kind of hitting. I knew the Giants were hot and coming into it, but I don't know, I just can't seem to bet against those two.
Yeah. Well, I had watched the previous week when they barely beat the Jets, and I'm like, if it wasn't for their defense, they wouldn't even have won that game.
Right.
Obviously, this game was played out a little bit different, but their defense was still strong. It just wasn't as good, and then they just had timely turnovers and mistakes on the other side of the ball.
And that'll kill you every time, right?
Yeah, turnovers. I mean, if you have, it's like just take the sack and punt it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
live to fight another day.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is sometimes.
And that's what Jackson Dart and some of these young guys take a while to understand is they don't have to, try to make things happen. They can, take a sack, throw a ball away, live to fight, another day, get another down. But forcing it in there, trying to do a shuttle pass or, behind the back, something or the other, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, not everybody's Mahomes and can do the shuttle pass with Andy Reid.
Right, exactly.
Do it effectively. So
yeah.
But yeah, I was a little bitter about that game. Still am, obviously. Because
that's gonna stick. That's gonna be. You're gonna be remembering that in week 16 still.
I'm going to because I had money on it too. I told you this morning.
That's why it hurts so much because it took it out of his pocketbook.
Well, and it's I only bet $20 on it, but it's I had it, and it was 99.4%. Now next time I'm gonna cash it out and give up the $1.
That is crazy that was what it was.
Yeah, it's just
that's nuts.
Yeah, the Sunday night game we talked a little bit about Atlanta, San Francisco. I mean, Atlanta's another one of those teams that I just feel like you don't know what team you're going to get.
I know.
Week before, but I was thinking about this too when I was watching the game. It's I think the Bills are even worse than I thought.
Good point. I'm glad somebody else is thinking that because I was kind of feeling that same way too. I'm like, they don't seem to be as good as they were in the past. And Josh Allen can only take you so far.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I haven't watched him enough yet to really kind of pinpoint what I think it might be but there's something there to that for sure.
He definitely doesn't look as sharp as he was last year for whatever reason.
Yeah.
He's just their offense just isn't rolling like last year. It was a given that if they had the ball last, they're probably going to win.
Right.
And now it seems it's a struggle, and they're kicking field goals instead of getting touchdowns. And, it's like, you're not going to win championships doing that.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. And the last game when they did lose to Atlanta, and I know they lost to New England as well, what I noticed, and they talked a lot about in the broadcast, is just the penalties.
Yeah,
Right. It's like when you're playing behind the sticks the whole game, it's like it's easy when it's 2nd and 2 all game. Mm-hmm. But when it's 1st and 15 or 2nd and 20 and 3rd and 9, it's like that. It changes what you can call.
Right.
It really does. And so I feel like they were the Bills of like 3 or 4 years ago.
Right.
When they had potential, but they were always shooting themselves in the foot somehow. And I feel like they're back to that. And they're a good team. Maybe they'll get it fixed because there's still a lot of time. But they don't look that good to me. They really don't.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Kale. I haven't watched enough, obviously, to kind of notice that, but that'll do it to you. That's the silent killer, man.
Yeah.
Turnovers, obviously, everybody talks about them, but penalties, and especially in certain situations, really are big sets. But you see them on the stat sheet, and it's like 15 for 110. But you go and look at like the 5th penalty of the kept it from scoring or something like that.
Yeah, when did those penalties occur?
Right.
And then sometimes too, it's like you see it where they might add 4 more penalties, but they declined them because it didn't benefit the other team.
Right.
But that's really what I have seen from those guys this year. So they had a bye last week, right? So maybe that was a focal point for them. We'll see.
Get it straightened out.
I was going to see who they're playing. They're playing Carolina. That's another team that you just don't know what you're going to
get. There are, what's funny is there's a handful of these teams right now that are just, and I think the one common denominator is besides the Bills, they all got a lot of young quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Penix over in Atlanta, you're like, who are they? They got Bijan, and he's having he's doing great. So you think you have a running game that would free it up, but is Penix going to be the guy?
Yeah.
Who knows? He didn't look like the guy the other night.
No, and Cousins was
over his head. He looked like he was in over his head.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that just goes back to the scheme, that Saleh was giving them. They were kind of highlighting. I mean, they were lining up 6-8 guys at the line of scrimmage. Like, who's coming? And it's like,
do that to a young quarterback.
It's like you're like 52 is the mic. No, it's 54, and it's like, and then they drop out in coverage, or they just it's crazy. I mean, I can only imagine because I know like when I haven't played basketball in a while, and then I go, your court vision is it's not there. You get tunnel vision.
Yep.
And I can only imagine as an NFL QB where it's like you haven't seen all these looks and they're disguising them on purpose. And then it's like, oh, shit, I just threw an interception.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. No, I think we were talking about earlier too, but Saleh being back is just you see this a lot too. And I mean, example 1A or example A is Mike McDonald. Like some of these guys are just not head coach material. Not that Saleh can't, lead men. That's not
right.
There's something there that, like, whether it's just their focus or I don't know what it is, but there's just some guys who just aren't head coach material. They're just man. Who is the guy that has never? It took one head coaching job. Spagnuolo.
Yeah.
I think he's a perfect example of it. I think he got one game or 1 year or whatever. It was like, no, so I'm just going to be the baddest defensive coordinator in the league. I'm going to make as much money as a head coach. I'm not going to have the stress.
Right.
And I can just
focus on my piece.
Yep. And I think that goes into business too, right?
Yeah.
Like some people are just better number twos.
Yeah. You see it all the time. I mean, Chip Kelly's done that now. He had great success early because he did something unique. And then every stop along the way, he had less and less success. And now he's an offensive coordinator, and he's like, I'm just going to do this.
Yeah.
Because he was at Ohio State. Now, isn't he? Is he with the Raiders now?
Yeah, I was going to say, hasn't had much success on that offensive side of the Raiders, though.
Yeah, he pops up all over the place. Yeah, you're like, wow, there he's. I mean, the last 5 years, I've seen him in like so many random locations running offenses. But
yeah.
Well, and I think that also goes back to leadership too. Like, I don't, from what I've been hearing, like he wasn't the greatest leader, head coach material. And again, kind of got to know your role.
Yeah. Shoot, we better pop through the rest of week 7. Tampa Bay, Detroit. I mean, Tampa Bay, I felt like laid an egg.
Yes.
They were bound to have one of those games.
Yeah.
I feel like one of those was coming.
Yeah, Detroit looked good. They pressured Baker a ton. And I mean, there was guys, they were pushing his linemen into him half the time off his spot. It's like, even if you just get a hurry. And I think it's is it Aiden Hutchinson? Is that the guy on Detroit? Yeah. I mean, he had like 6 hurries or something, like, or pressures, I think they call them. It's like you're affecting the game as a defensive end if you're doing that.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, he's coming off a big injury too, which is good.
Yeah, they're glad to have him back.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a hell of a football player, and I love watching him play. I'm a big fan. Obviously, you see the corner here, Grit, but I'm a big fan of Dan Campbell and just like
dude, I love that guy.
He's just like, he gets it, and I'm happy to see them kind of bounce back from that. What week 1 it was, everybody was like, oh, up in arms. Ben Johnson left.
Yeah.
So exactly. I mean, you have a foundation like that. I figured they'd be just fine. And again, like even Jared Goff, I think, God dang. I mean, could you imagine getting traded away from the team you just took to the Super Bowl you were drafted by, and like the biggest slap in the face ever, and you go to Detroit? That's where careers go to die, right?
Right.
And then he
used to be.
No, we'll see. Let's and he's doing it. So I have a lot of respect for guys like that.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump to week 8 real quick on the schedule because see the games. The game that I have no idea on now, New York going against Philly again. I mean, they just came off
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they just came off a horrible loss, and Philadelphia is kind of rolling. It's at Philly. I mean, I'm probably going to go with the home team on that, but man,
yeah,
what a tough get right there.
Well, and I think New York too is kind of one of those teams, like they're so young.
Yeah,
they're just going to be Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We're going to see who they are each week.
Trying to see some other games that might be Chicago at Baltimore. Chicago actually is probably favored in that game. Oh no,
they're not. Baltimore's 3.5. I was looking at that.
Wow.
Oh no, kidding.
So I was looking at it's like, well, who's hurt? Who did Baltimore just recruit this week to go to quarterback? And they didn't, and Lamar's still out, and it's like, why are they favored? I'm like, so obviously Vegas knows something I don't, because I'm like, I'm not picking Baltimore, but
right,
I
agree.
Either.
Yeah, that's another team too that's kind of, had their fortunes.
My dog's making an appearance.
I love it. Is it a boy or girl?
It's a girl.
What's her name?
Charlotte.
Oh, look at Charlotte. She's got to get her picks in.
Yeah. What do you do? A puppy bowl? She's a licker, man. It's like, stop it.
I had to kick my bulldog out because people think I'm snoring in here.
Yeah. She just starts yapping if I don't. And this is really bad planning. I had an appointment right before this, so I've been gone, and nobody's here. So she's a puppy still. She's almost a year, so she needs some attention.
Yeah. Well, welcome, Charlotte.
Yeah.
She needs her own little tag.
Yeah.
Kale and Charlotte.
There you go. Some other games, week 8. Green Bay, Pittsburgh, that's going to be good for there's a lot of teams on bye. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams on bye. So big.
6 teams?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know they did that many.
I didn't know. Detroit, Vegas, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Jags. Yeah. So it's going to make every one of our picks even that more important because there's going to be less games. So
I think Dallas is at Denver too.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, and Dallas is still one of those, like, what are they going to get it together? Or
I think Dad had LASIK surgery on his eyes this year because he's actually hitting his receivers instead of the defenders this year, which I hate Dallas. They're one of those teams that I just can't stand them, but they've had some success and they've looked like, their offense looks like it kind of works this year. So,
Yeah, they've got some players, you know.
They do.
They do. But it's Dallas.
Just get rid of Jerry and we'll be good. So,
right.
Well, that guy looks pretty tough, man. When they show him on the screen, it's like, ooh, he doesn't look very good. I know he's 80 plus, but still, it's like,
yeah,
man,
yeah. He's it's crazy how he's getting that old. Yeah, I heard that too, that he was in his 80s, and I was like,
wow. Let's jump to college football. Just spend a few minutes on it because we still got to talk about MLB. You guys probably I don't watch a lot of it, but I did watch a little bit of it. So going back to college football, I mean Miami getting upset on Thursday night, kicked it off. I'm never upset when Miami loses because Cristobal's still there.
He's just still at home. I don't know what it is, but I just the guy irritates me, right? Yeah. I mean, it's like, hey, he went back to his alma mater. Give him that, but just, it's like I hate coaches that they all do it. I'll never leave. Oregon's my home. My kids are going to grow up here. And then, 2 hours later, he's got a $2 million contract going back to Miami. It's like, oh my gosh.
Well, in hindsight, we're really glad it happened because now we have
absolutely, because it gives us something.
You guys got to love Dan Lanning, though.
Yeah, it gives us something to root for when they play someone. Then when they lose at home, it's great. So. It'd be great to see them actually play in the playoffs if they did.
Yeah, that would be great.
That's what everybody wants to see. But Cristobal just has a knack for just not adjusting, whatever the case may be. Clock management sucks, and just losing those games, And he does that, a couple more years, and he might be out like Franklin, Penn State. Just see ya.
Yeah. Yeah, they got a short leash out there.
They do now. It's
right.
Crazy.
Yeah, some of these buyouts are insane right now.
Oh my goodness, yeah, $49 million. Jeez, Louise.
It's just wild. Like,
I mean, what Franklin's was 50+ million, wasn't it? I mean, it was crazy. Yeah, nuts.
The money in college sports is just insane. Like, I knew it was. We all knew it was there, right? Yeah. Like, it was all bubbling below the surface. But now that it's just out in the open, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
No wonder everybody was driving Corvettes in the 80s and whatnot. Right. It's just, and just to see it all out in the open now is pretty insane.
Yeah. Another big game last week. Ole Miss, Georgia. Ole Miss just can't win the big one. That's the biggest thing I'd say about those guys.
Yeah, Lane.
They had it too. I didn't watch it, but just the highlights. It's like they had it, But give Smart, all the credit in the world. They just he does it. He just knows how to win,
Yeah.
And in the big games, And I do like Lane Kiffin. I don't know why, but I kind of like him, but he struggles. In those games.
Yeah,
I'd like to see his arc has been interesting. Just like seeing where he's come from. Like, because I was out here during those Raider years, and that shit was hilarious. That was funny stuff. Al Davis and his overhead projector and whatnot. But to see where he's at now is pretty crazy. But the Cougs almost knocked him off out in Biloxi the week before.
Yeah, I saw that.
Right. Yep. So I was kind of like, I mean, the Cougs are all right, but like,
and really that comes down to, the Cougs, they got tired, right? In the end, they just didn't have the dudes to hang with them for fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, just, Ole Miss did. And I mean, they only beat them by 3 points, I think. I mean,
same thing happened this weekend or last week against Virginia. We had Virginia on the ropes in Blacksburg.
Yeah.
And we let them, they just wore them down in the very end. I think the Cougs had like a 14-point lead or something like that in the fourth quarter or 10-point lead or something. And you just could see it happening where like they just have the dudes.
Yeah. Well, that's a great point because, coaching can get you so far. And that's probably, I don't even know who the coach is now, but for them to be playing with those teams with, especially the Cougs, because you look at the Beavers and what's happened to them since the Pac-12 is decimated. I mean, they're driving off a cliff, hair on fire type thing. Where the Cougs, and it's like coaching is so important. You put your guys in a place and you teach them, but ultimately you still got to have the guys to win. You know, I coached youth basketball, and that was us last year. Is like we were in a ton of games, but we'd lose them by 4 points. You know, it's like you draw up a play that you've practiced 1,000 times. You know, it's like I learned early coaching. I am not going to draw up a new play in the middle of a game and expect sixth graders to execute it. I don't even care if it's a wrinkle, unless it was my kid that after a while, then I would do it. But now it's like, because some kids get it, some don't, right?
Right. They're more, he already has kind of that, we were talking like the vision on the court.
Yeah.
You know, he's got that coach's maybe mindset that can adapt things quicker.
Yeah.
Where like me, I would have had to run it 15 times in practice, and I still would have probably fucked it up. You know.
Well, it's so funny because like I'll design the plays in practice, and then I'm telling them, and then I go to demonstrate, and I'm like, this is so different. It's like I know exactly what everybody's supposed to do, but as soon as I get into it, and I'm the third guy, I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? And the kids are all telling me you're supposed to do this, coach.
Come on, coach, get your
like it's my coaching.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah,
that's that mindset of where we're older, but in our minds we're really young. But in our bodies, we're like, what is this?
Yeah.
My body's not reacting the way I thought it would.
No, it's not at all, man. Yeah, another game. Alabama's still rolling. I mean, we were talking on here early in the season; they were done, but they're rolling. They're looking good. Big upset though. Arizona State beating Texas Tech. I mean.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham, because he was the offensive coordinator for Oregon for a bit.
Was he?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that guy's impressive, man.
Yeah.
And I think he's a recruiter too.
Yeah.
Not like you got to recruit real hard to Arizona State though. Just
party school.
Co-eds, right?
Yeah, I was actually down in Arizona probably about 3 years ago, and it was like I'm with my wife, and I'm like, dude,
I'm glad I didn't go to school here.
I'm like, man, this is bad. I mean, just like, because it's hot. My dog is, she's chiming in down here. She's like, stop it. It was just, I see why people go there. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, you know what's interesting is there's a lot of kids here in California that like go to Arizona State, and I never really understood that. I was like, you got so many beautiful, great colleges here. In California, you would think in-state tuition or stuff like that. And then you go there for 1 week and you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And they don't have to be there during summer when it's 110.
Right. They get the best of both worlds, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Arizona State's kind of one of those teams this year that, it's like they've won some big games. That was a great win for them, but they've also, looked kind of crappy too this year, and not as consistent, not the Cinderella team that they were last year. So but I think they're dangerous. I think and they'll make obviously BYU's the team in the Big 12. They won the Holy War, the Holy Bowl game. Last week. It's funny we have some friends, and the wife. Mormon friends that the wife's diehard Utah, hates BYU. The husband's BYU, hates Utah. So that's always a nice family dynamic. So
you gotta have that.
But it's funny. And I'm like, so how do you hate BYU? And she just, I just do. So okay, whatever.
It's just born into you, man. That's just what you do.
It is,
Yeah.
It's kind of like why you hate the Huskies. That's why Tyson.
That's it.
The Huskies.
We have these, our Thanksgivings have gotten a lot better though, because it used to be the Apple Cup was always, right after Thanksgiving, and, there was always shit talking going on at Thanksgiving because there's just houses divided all over the Pacific Northwest with them.
That's awesome.
But I miss it though, man. That's the other downside. It's weird.
Know.
Like I was ready to say,
traditional games. Yeah.
I'm a West Coast boy, man, and it's like growing up, the Rose Bowl was the pinnacle, and you got to get through USC, and you got to do all this stuff, and now it's like, who do we got? We got Virginia this week, and then you hear something like BYU is leading the Big 12. You're like,
that doesn't make any sense, right?
I know.
Yeah, are they in the WAC still?
Right. Yeah, I was trying to think like, what was the conference they were in?
Yeah,
but we'll see. It's just I don't know. I like change, and so I'm cool with it. But it's just it takes getting used to.
Yeah. All right, we better jump to MLB because we got to hit the NBA a little bit too. So MLB, I mean, obviously, great season for the Mariners. Didn't end the way they wanted. Tough. Up 3-1 with that, and home run by Toronto. I mean, Toronto. They just seem to get the timely hits in that series from what I saw. I didn't watch every game, but that's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, they did. I've we've been getting beat up by the Astros for years in the West there, and so I'm very familiar with Springer. And when he came up, I was like, please don't do it. I just knew it. He just was looking like him and Vlad. Those guys are just they just crush it. And so, it was heartbreaking. Yesterday felt like a day after hearing somebody died. It's like that. You're kind of, you're going through all these emotions, and I was a senior in high school in 1995 when they went to their first playoff, and then I had moved down here to the Bay Area in 2001 when they won 116.
Yeah.
So for me to be like, holy shit, like it's been 24 years, since that happened. I started thinking about all the stuff that's happened in 24 years. It just got so overwhelming. Like, it has to happen now. I mean, in 50 years, in 50 years, we've never gotten this close and whatnot. So then, and you fall in love with the players, when you're in that type of thing, especially baseball. And that's what I was trying to explain to my wife, was like with baseball. And to be honest with you, the Giants have kind of tempered my being here. I've kind of picked up the Giants, so they kind of tempered a little those 20 years of the Mariners sucking. But when in baseball, it's 162 games, and then we got to start that all over again.
I know. It's like you played so long to get there. Yeah.
So it's going to be a whole nother year, and hopefully we're in this position. But it brought back all that stuff, and but I love postseason baseball. And I think it's going to be a good series, Toronto and the Dodgers. And shoot, look at what I mean. I was laughing because I chose the wrong night. I went to the Warriors preseason game the night Friday night, the game that Shohei hit 3 bombs and Eugenio Suarez hit the. I was on the Bay Bridge on the 36th anniversary of the earthquake in the World Series, and he hit that bomb. And I'll never forget it, listen to Rick Ribbs. But I was like, I picked the worst night ever to go watch preseason basketball.
Yeah.
It was the greatest baseball.
Yeah, speaking of Shohei, I mean, doing something that only like 10 people have done individually, in postseason pitching and then hitting. And he did them both in the same game.
It's amazing.
I mean, the guy is absolutely unbelievable. He just, there's no words for him. He's that good.
Yeah.
Did you see where there was an article, and I can't remember where I read it, but they said that they've already made back his contract.
I don't doubt it.
He signed that 10-year, $700 million deal or whatever. And a lot of it was deferred and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But they said that I think it was in the LA Times. They were saying that the Shohei effect this year, they've already basically paid that thing off.
Yeah.
In 1 year, which is pretty wild.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's like, I'm not a big Mariners fan, but I do like the American League, and it's just watching it. It's like you said, playoff baseball is the best. It's like 162 games, way too many games. But once it starts getting into the playoffs, that's when I watch. And you do. I mean, you get you the players, how they hit, and it's a lot of fun. It's like, Seattle's so close, and it's like, hey, there's next year, but there's going to be pieces that are there. There's going to be pieces that aren't there. And so that's the part that, I'm sure as yourself and the diehard fans, it's like, it won't be the same because, not everybody's going to be there to do it, and it was fun. It was fun to watch them. I mean, Toronto is just, they're hitters 1 through 9. I mean, anyone could hit that ball. And then once, there's a couple guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's just contagious. Then everybody was friggin' hitting, You know,
Right.
you guys throwing 99, 100 miles an hour. It didn't matter, right? And it's
that's the other fascinating thing. I don't know.
Just throwing heat.
Remember when like you get a 102 or 101 or 100 and be like, whoa, you know, it'd be like one off. These guys are throwing 102s and they're not even mentioning it. You know, like it's just so I
crazy.
Don't know. It's crazy.
It really is. I mean, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I love the 7-game series. I mean, it's like, you know, if Seattle was my team, hey, you know, sweep them in 4, let's go. You know,
right?
You know, but when you're not really truly vested, but kinda, you just love that. You love it coming down, and it did. I mean, it was like it happened in the 7th, but still, it's like it's just
every
pitch. Because you never knew. I mean, you know, Seattle, you know, it was the second pitch. He was just, and he rocks it, you know, and it's like, crappy. And it's like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, so, but it was fun, you know.
I was watching a lot of, you know, stuff on TikTok and a lot of generational stuff going on, you know, with people. I mean, there's a whole generation of Mariner fans that never even seen them go to the playoffs. I was thinking about that, you know, like these kids were 5, 6 years old. They're in their 30s now, you know, and, but then I watched the fans in Toronto, and I was seeing all that stuff happening with them. You know, because they just 93, I think it was.
It's been a while for them too. Yep.
Yeah. So you could see that. So I was, you know, while it was hurting, it was like cool to see. You know, I'm a sucker for the father-son stuff, you know, and especially in baseball because it's just kind of like you said, it's a long journey and you know, summer and you know all that stuff. And so I was like, this is what's great about postseason ball, you know, in baseball. There's a lot of good memories being made.
Yeah. You talking about Vlad?
Oh, yeah. Vlad and, you know, it's just, they're a really good team. And I don't know who's going to win. I mean, you know, really, I think the Dodgers, I mean, I'm rooting for, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm like rooting for the Dodgers just because you know, I want to keep it in the States and on the West Coast, but you know, they could come, you know, Toronto can hang with them.
Yeah, they're timely hitting. I mean, the way they've been hitting, and they just seem to get a lot of base hits and then timely home runs, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy how that series started too with Seattle, Toronto, where it's like the visiting team, you know, won, you know, at each other's, you know, parks the first 2 games. So then, you know, after 4, it's like, you know, it's tied up, and it's like, wow, this is, you know, it's like. I know Seattle fans were thinking it's like, yeah, we got this, you know.
Oh my gosh.
I know. That's the hardest part right there, right? It's like,
but we were all going like, they're going to Seattle this somehow. They're going to Mariner this somehow.
Right.
They certainly did. You know, they made it, you know, all the way to the very end. It was, you know, but yeah, it's just a great time of year. And I'm so glad that, you know, having a little rooting interest in it made it even better. But, you know, you got football, baseball, basketball starting. You know, I think NHL even kicked off too. I got a little bit of, you know, hockey in me. So my wife doesn't like it, but my girls don't like it. Like, Dad, you're going to come in from your office? No, we got another game coming on, girls.
Yeah. All right, hit on the NBA real quick. Just 2 games last night. Started the season with a double overtime thriller with OKC, a little bit of I don't know if it's drama, but KD going there and watching them get their rings and hang the banner at the, you know, really the old Supersonics is what it is, which is kind of crazy to think that.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was a hell of a game, double overtime. KD tried to pull a C-Web and call a timeout. They didn't call him on it though. I don't know if you saw that end of I think it was end of the first overtime. He got the ball and and Segun went over there and like tried to get the ball from him, and then time ran out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was another Seattle sports thing. And I was a big Indiana Pacer fan last year, and I did not want to see, you know, the Thunder, you know, get a championship. Well, maybe they'll give ours back to us then. I think they still got the Sonics banner from '76. But
that's crazy. Do they have it? Wonder if they have it hanging up there.
I don't know, but they got, because there's been talk about getting it back for a franchise or expansive.
Yeah, they should. I mean, really, if they get a franchise.
Yeah. So, they're a damn good basketball team, and you know, it was weird kind of seeing KD in a Rockets uniform, but you know, so is the NBA right now, and so is KD, right? He's going to play for the team, I think. And but yeah, it was it's just great to have it back. I've become a real basketball nut over the last few years, and I don't know, last probably 10 or 15, but I've always loved basketball. But this is the greatest athletes on the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me, we need to get people. We've got our pool for.
Oh yeah, I got to fill that out
for basketball starting. It's weekend games only, so everybody needs to get their picks in because you can't win the whole thing if you don't get it in the whole week. So
it's weekends.
Yeah, I think it's Saturday, Sundays only. I just dropped it in the in the chat, and
I know Trey sent it to me a couple times.
Yeah, I think only 3 people so far have our picks in.
Okay, I'll get in and do it as soon as we get off here.
Me and Trey and Nerf. Nerf is he's a guy who can pick some games, man. So you got to be on your game for the NBA.
He's got the NBA eye, huh?
Yeah, he's what is he? I think his nickname or his name is Bosnian 69 or something. Yeah, Bosnian. So he's a big dude from Eastern Europe, loves basketball, follows it, and knows it well because he won a lot of weeks last week, and he probably would have won it had he been in it from the whole time and taken it down from Trey. So as long as Trey's not winning, I don't have to listen to him win.
I was gonna say we'll have to get in there just to take Trey down.
Yeah, exactly.
We're coming for you, Trey. I know you're watching.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and then the Warriors looked good last night. That's gonna be an interesting, situation without LeBron playing. I don't know, about the Lakers, but they look pretty tough. But yeah, I'm anxious to see a full season with Jimmy Butler and the crew, see what they do.
Yeah, I mentioned this to you before we went on air, but it's kind of crazy that he has a bet. He goes, it's kind of a stupid bet, but not really, with Steph Curry that he's going to shoot better free throw percentage than Steph is for the season.
Right.
And Steph is like a 91 point something, I think.
Right. Yeah, he's in the 90s.
Yeah. Well, last night Jimmy goes 16 of 16 from the line. And I want to say, I'm going to look it up real quick, but I think Steph was 8 of 8.
Oh, that's going to be fun to watch.
But hey, as a Warriors fan, if they're going to be competing to shoot 94% from the line together, I'm all about it.
I agree. I love it. There's a chemistry to this team.
Yeah.
And I think we were seeing a little bit at the end of last year, but that preseason game I went to, I got a chance. They played most of the starters, but the funny part was they were giving out bobbleheads of Jimmy Butler and Buddy Hield, and they call it the Buddy's bobblehead or whatever, because they're they've got this funny thing going on between the two of them. But that's what it takes, I think.
Yeah.
You can have all the talent on your team in the world, but if you don't have that chemistry, that chemistry goes a long way.
Well, yeah. So Steph was 8 of 8. Jimmy was 16 of 16. As a team, they were 26 of 29, 89.7%. So Jimmy hunts free throws.
Yeah.
And Steph gets hacked all the time.
Right.
So it's like if those guys get to the line 20, 25 times a game and they're shooting 90+%, I like the odds of them doing really, really well for the season.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. I didn't really think about it that way. But you're right.
I'm all about it. All right. Before we get out of here, we got to do a hot take though. Just anything, any sport, doesn't matter.
Hot take.
I'll do my hot take. I think Dallas goes into Denver and beats them.
Okay, nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Good one. Well, I don't know if it's more of a hot series take, but I'm gonna say Toronto takes them Game 7. Get a Game 7 in the World Series. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Just make it real interesting and make the Dodgers work for it. But I just really think that they're going to hang with them, and I'm interested to see the two of them play together. So, I guess that's probably mine.
Nice. I am going to, since I talked about the Bills earlier, I'm going to say that the Bills are not going to win the NFC East or the AFC East. And I can't even talk AFC East. And they have to get in on a wild card.
I think
the Patriots are going to take them down. So they already have the tiebreaker, and they're one game up on them. So I don't know if it's necessarily a super hot take, but historically, it's a really hot take the last 4 or 5 years.
Really?
That is, right? The poor Buffalo, too. You know, they finally got a little window here of getting their ass, handed to them by the Patriots, and it slammed shut in a couple of years.
Exactly. So,
but it's like I said, an interesting time. I'm excited to see how things play out here.
Yep. Well, gents, thanks for joining in. I'll be bugging you to join in more as we go. We like to have 4 guys if we can, so we'll rotate guys through, and everybody get your picks in, whether it's NFL or NBA, because it's a lot more fun when there's more people to talk shit to. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you guys.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
All right,
Kale, we got to talk about something that you made a hot take at the beginning of the season.
Okay.
How's
Genty
that?
Or what?
Yeah, Genty, baby. 81 yards to start the season, 2 games through. Boy, he is not looking good right now.
There's a lot of football left. I mean, they got 15 more games, almost the old, original, full season. But this is not looking good.
No, it's not looking good at all. I was thinking about that when I was watching the game the other night. I'm like, that's the great thing about putting these hot takes out is you look like such a fool. I mean, not even it's 2 weeks. And I'm like, that's such a bad take. So,
I mean, in 5 weeks, I could look like a great pick again, but right now, it doesn't look very good.
No, I'm not so sure about that. Well, what he meant to say was that Patrick Mahomes was going to have 1,000 yards. That's what he meant.
Yeah, he's going to lead. He's going to lead the
what
team
the heck
in rushing.
What's going on there?